Yo, what's going on? It's Elusive here, and we're back with another video. The Black CRZ has been in the backgrounds kind of, so I haven't really done a whole lot on the channel. But currently, as it sits, I got the front bumper off. You guys saw that in the past video. I also took the headlight off, so the broken headlight's off. I got a replacement for it already. So today's video, we're going to talk about should you buy an Acura RSX in 2024 now that we're in 2024. And I've had mine, when did I get mine? 2018, I'd say. About 2018. So I got mine about 2018. And since then, I've loved it. And it's only really had one major problem, which we've established already. So if you are new, my clutch we just replaced the clutch on this. After 237,000 miles, it just had one clutch replacement, which is pretty crazy. That kid's got a snowball in his hand, but I'll chuck it at my car, so I'm sure I bet you would, kid. Chuck it, throw it, eat it, do something. Ooh, damn, bro. Face of snow. That kid is a fucking rebel. I'm kind of gonna talk about the reasons why you should and the reason why you should not buy an RSX. The main reason why so I'm gonna go over the cons first, because there's not very many of them, in my opinion. Again, take this video with my personal opinion. If you think differently, great for you, but this is my opinion. So if you're already opinionated about stuff and you don't want to change your opinion, don't watch this video. So anyway, my personal opinion, the cons so far that I think about if I would recommend this car to somebody is don't expect to buy this car and don't expect to buy this car like it came off the factory floor. Like a lot of people will just buy like old and used cars and then expect it to run like a $40,000 car. It's like you paid like what, $2,000-$3,000 for this car. You want it to run like a fucking showroom car. That's the first thing I notice when people get into RSXs, like, oh, it needs all this work. It's like, dude, you paid like $3,000 for it, and it needs like a battery. It needs like basic shit, and it's like you guys are gonna complain about that. But anyway, that's just my rant for the day. That's the main thing I would say is don't expect to get one of these without having like I said, any problem can be like a battery. It could need a headlight bulb for stuff like that. I mean, it's gonna need small stuff, like it's not gonna need anything major for the most part. Another con is like rust, especially it really depends where you live. Like I said, I live in Wisconsin, as you guys can see by the snow. Cars that are more prone to rust do rust, and when they rust a lot. My RSX isn't really terrible, but it's got, you know, the usual fender rust and then underbody rust like you would expect from almost a 20-year-old car. It's been in Wisconsin its whole life, so like I said, a lot of places that'll rust is a strut tower, so be careful of that. Really just gotta look where it rusts, because if it rusts at the fenders, it's fine, because personal opinion, if it rusts at the fenders, at least then it's not like something that's gonna fall off the car, like it's just a fender. Like you can run without the fender. So if your strut tower is rusting, be really careful of that. There's a lot of bad areas that can rust. But in my case, none of that has happened yet. But again, it's almost a 20-year-old car. You can't expect it to run perfect and look perfect off the showroom floor. Another thing, I guess the con is these are a little more pricier than I would expect to pay for something like this. Even the rusty ones, you're paying a decent penny for. I mean, from what I've been looking at recently, I've looked through Facebook Marketplace, all that shit. Whenever I look through there, I see them around $5 or $6 grand. I mean, for a decent one, and you know that's pretty expensive for almost 20 years old. Pretty high miles. I mean, a lot of them have over 170,000 miles. And that's pretty high. Not to say that it's not going to run after that, but as you can see, mine's got 237,000 miles and it still runs great. But the other thing is too, is you got to go over the fact that high miles doesn't mean your car's gonna fucking just blow up in like soon. Like just because your car has say 180,000 miles doesn't mean it's got like that much less life. When it comes down to it, miles really don't mean anything. Buying any car is just taking a chance as it is. You could buy a car that has 1 mile. It could have a failed transmission. It comes off the fucking lot that way. You could take any chance you could take, but it's a little different obviously when you don't buy from a dealership. That's why it's so much cheaper. So really that's the only real cons that I know of to why you shouldn't buy one. Either you don't want to work on the car or you don't want to spend a little bit more for a car that's going to be really good. So on to the good things. Really, the best thing about it, it's a K-Series engine. One of the best things that Honda could have done for this car. Depends what RSX you have, but the all base RSXs come with the K20 A3, and that is what's in mine currently because I am in a 5-speed base model, or yeah, 5-speed base model. So if you own the Type S, that'll come with the K20 Z1 if you have the 05, the 06 model, which comes with a 6-speed, and then if you have the 02 to 04 model RSX, it'll come with the K20 A2. The only real difference between the K20 A2 and the Z1 is the camshaft, which just makes it make a little bit more power. So it really isn't a whole lot different. There probably are a little bit tinier differences, but that's the main difference between the K20 A2 and Z1. I've never owned an A2, so I have no idea what it feels like. But the Z1 is definitely a nice upgrade from the A3. Is it like a ridiculous upgrade? No, but it is cool having real VTEC. So people hate on the base model because it doesn't have real VTEC. It has like the economy VTEC, which just helps it. It doesn't like add performance per se. So the performance VTEC is in the Type S, economy VTEC in the base models. I'm also not going to touch on any of the automatic RSXs because I don't have any, never owned one, and I have no idea what they're like for power or any of that. All I know is everybody buys the manuals of these cars because autos are gay. So if you have an auto, I'm sorry to crush your dreams, but they're gay. With that being said, the K20, really good engine. It doesn't make like a ridiculous power. Like I think the base makes about 150 to 160 horsepower, which again, it's not a whole lot, but the car weighs like 2,000 something pounds. So it really isn't like a big deal. Like 160 horsepower feels a lot more in a car like this versus a fucking truck. So again, you gotta understand physics, you gotta understand all that stuff. I don't understand all that stuff. I just know what it feels like to be in this car versus a truck. So there you go, there's that. Everyone looks at the horsepower numbers and just thinks, wow, my truck makes 300 horsepower. It's twice as fast. No, buddy, it's really not, but we're not gonna touch that today. And then seeing as how we're in the winter season, I can talk about how this car isn't a terrible winter car either. For the most part, I've driven this car every winter so far that I've owned it, even this year including it. So really the main factor when it comes to a car in winter is snow tires. I feel like if your car isn't all-wheel drive or four-wheel drive, the only deciding factor between you and the ditch is the tires. If you have really shitty tires with no tread or just extreme summer tires that aren't meant to drive in anything other than rain, like you're not gonna have a great time in snow. And personally, I run Bridgestone Blizzaks on this. My brother had them when I got the car, and I've ran them ever since. They have good life, all that. I really have a good time in the snow. It doesn't have a problem in the snow. But the real deciding factor is tires, so really any car would be good in the snow with tires. Another thing is too, when I kept track, like I used to keep track of how many miles per gallon I got in this thing. I haven't checked lately, but the last time I checked, I did like the last 5. I think I had like 32, 28, 20, like I was all the way around 30 miles per gallon in this thing. And I wasn't driving it like conservative like a bitch. I wasn't like, oh, I'm just gonna sit here, only shift when I'm at 1500 RPM. Nah, like I was shifting at probably 4 or 5 all the time. Like I'm not shifting like baby bitches. And I was getting 30 plus miles per gallon on this thing. And it's very capable of getting about 32, 34 if you really are being a bitch on it. I guess that's a good way of saying it. I drive it kind of passive aggressive. Another thing is this car is very analog. Like the dash is all analog. Like the steering is super, I don't know. I like how it is a power steering platform because a lot of cars now are all electric power steering. Everybody switches to electric on this car. My CRZ, which has an electric rack, just feels so light. Like it's so buttery smooth, but I really like this for the rack because it just feels so responsive. I don't know. That's just me. Everybody can hate how they want. I like this better. I know the power steering has problems, all that, whatever. it leaks, it does this and that, whatever. It's been fine for me, never had a problem. I know that's a common issue. But I feel like if I would give somebody a main reason why you shouldn't buy this car, it's just like, yes, it's a little slower. It's a little slower, but it feels fast. If that makes any sense. It feels fast. It depends what you're used to. Like I said, if you're used to like an Audi S4 or something, yes, this thing will feel really slow. But if you're used to like not driving at all or automatics, this thing will be awesome, dude. You're gonna have a fucking blast in this thing. The manual version, at least. I don't know about the automatic yet. I don't know about it. I haven't had one. Probably never will. I'm really biased when it comes to this car, as it was my first car, and again, my car for a long time. I've owned it since about 180,000 miles. But that is kind of my personal take on this car. Like I said, the exterior is really nice. The main real problem you're gonna have, depending on where you live, is the rust. And you should expect that depending on where you live. You're gonna know if you have rust problems or not. It's not gonna be a surprise. But yeah, like I said, some cars are more prone to rust than others. This is one of them. A lot of Hondas are pretty cheaply, I don't know if it's really cheaply made. It's just like material can't last that long in shitty conditions. So, but in terms of like modifying an RSX, like your potential is like through the fucking roof. Like you can do damn near anything to this thing and then some. There really isn't like anything stopping you, because what I've noticed was, I didn't know this until actually I bought my CRZ, was there isn't a whole, like a lot of cars that have a niche market don't have a lot of parts available. Like the CRZ, for example, doesn't have a lot of performance parts available, like readily available, and not a lot of companies make performance parts for it compared to the RSX. Now, could that just be because the RSX is more driven to be a sports car and modified, all that? It could be, but the RSX has like an amazing aftermarket platform. If there isn't anything I touched on in this video, you guys have opinions of your own in the comments, be sure to leave them. If I do leave something out, I apologize, but that's my personal opinion. And I feel like you definitely should buy an RSX in 2024 because it's an amazing car. It's really underappreciated. And again, everybody has their own situation. I'm not telling everybody to go out there and buy one right now. Like, if you are, I'm guessing if you're watching this video, you're already interested in buying one or have one. I've never been stranded once with this thing, never once. And really, it's just been a great car since I've owned it. I like the overall analog feel, interior feel, everything like that. It's just something you gotta look into when buying this car. Look into the features, all that. It's a really cool car, and you won't be mistaken when buying one. With that being said, I appreciate you guys watching the video, and hopefully you guys stick around for the CRZ build, as well as other future builds going on the channel. Super excited to share with you guys. Adios, motherfuckers. Take care.
They tell me that I'm never gonna make it. They want me to do something that could make sense. They hate when I keep dreaming I'll be famous, but I don't give a fuck, I'ma keep chasing. I got all this potential that's deep inside of me, but they hate when you're successful cause they try to be. They sit there being judgmental because you try and think